Okay. All right. So this problem is not in your book anywhere. This is a problem from the old book, but it was a good kind of problem to go through because it had some different things. So this is the problem we're going to be using as a sample problem. So it says, on March 31st, 2014, Taggart Company had a cash balance per books of $5,337.20. The statement from Western Bank on the date showed a balance of $6,204.40. A comparison of the bank statement with the cash account revealed the following facts. And then it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? When you get your exam question is going to be more like this. Your homework is going to be a lot more difficult. But if you follow the process, you'll be able to do it. But your exam question is going to be more along the lines of this, okay? All right, so we have our whole list of stuff. We have all the information we need. So we are going to start the process. Go back to your little map that you have. Remember what you start with, what you do next for the steps of the bank reconciliation, right? The process for that. Hold on a second, I'm just kidding. Okay. So we are going to start with the bank part, right? So the first one is going to be cash balance per bank, all right? Cash balance per bank. So if we look at this, it says Taggart Company had a cash balance per books of $5,337.20. The statement from Western Bank on that date showed $6,204.40. So $6,204.40. Okay, that's the balance per bank. We are then going to add for any deposits in transit. So we're going to go through this list over here, and we're going to look at all the different items. Number 1 is a bank service charge. Number 2 is the bank collected a note. Number 3 is receipts of $1,656.60 were not included in the bank deposits for March. These receipts were deposited by the company in the night deposit vault on March 31st. That's your deposits in transit. Okay, so we're going to add deposits in transit. And the deposits in transit is $1,656.60. Now in this problem, there's only one of each of these. Now in your homework problem, you may have more than one, and so you're going to have a separate box for each deposit. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we are going to do less outstanding checks. So let's see here. We've got, we know it's not number 3, right? Because this 16,656 was number 3, right? Let's see. Number 4, company check number 1245 issued to okay, that's an error, to T. Gilroy, a creditor, for $652 that cleared the bank in March was incorrectly entered. Okay. Number 5, checks outstanding for March 31st total $1,511. So we're going to do less outstanding checks for $1,511. Okay, so that's number 5. Then we're going to do any bank errors. And there are no bank errors in this problem. It is very rare that you are going to get bank errors, okay? All right. So we're going to take 6204.40. We're going to add 1656.60, and we're going to subtract $1,511. That's going to give us what we call the adjusted cash balance per bank. Okay, 16,350 adjusted cash balance per bank. All right. Now we're going to go do the book part. Okay, so we're going to start with cash balance per books. And it tells us in the beginning of the problem that the cash balance per books is $5,337.20. And then we're going to go through the list of items to reconcile the account. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add for any notes that the bank has collected for us, any payments they've collected for us. And they may have collected some and they may not. So we see here, though, on number 2, it says the bank collected a note receivable of $2,169 for Taggart Company on March 11th, plus $121 of interest. The bank made a $26 charge for the collection. Taggart has not accrued any interest on the note. So what we need to do is we need to take $2,169 plus $121 minus $26. Oops. Okay. So if we do all those, we're going to get, is that right? $2,264. $2,264. So we are going to add note collected by bank, $2,264. Whoops, $2,264. Okay. We're then going to look and see if there's any errors that we have to add for. Okay. So let's see, the 2,264, that was number 2, right? And let's see, errors. See, number 6 is a non-sufficient funds check. We already took care of number 5. Okay, number 4. Company check number 1245 issued to T. Gilroy, creditor, for $652 that cleared the bank in March was incorrectly entered in the cash payments journal for $625. Okay, so cleared bank for $652. T account showed $625. Okay, so $652 minus $625 gives us a total of $27 difference. And we need to, let's see. We need to subtract that from the cash account. You know, I'm going to have to ask you to hold on for 1 second here. Why don't you go ahead and try and work on this? I'm going to pause this 1 second here, the recording. Okay, so let's see. So we need to take $27 more out of our T account, right? So that's going to be a less. Okay. So the next step that we would go to is we would look for any non-sufficient funds checks, right? So let's see here. On March 31st is a non-sufficient funds check, right? So, the other thing I want to show you, I wanted to pull this up from the bottom here. I'm going to pull this up here to kind of show you this, because once you work through it one time, it's going to make sense to you, but before that, it's not going to. Okay, so the reason why I pulled it up is this. So we only had one addition for the banknote, right? I mean, for the collection of the banknote. So we pushed that item right over. Now for the less, we have more than one less. So we're actually going to indent those and list the less items one by one, and then we're going to total those and push those over, okay? So the first one is the non-sufficient funds check, right? Which is 1202.20, and that's number 6. See, on the bank had a non-sufficient funds check, 1202.20. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do less for the check error, right? And this should be indented like this. So the check error, and the check error was for $26. And then we have the bank service charge, and the bank service charge is number 1. And the bank service charge was for $22. So we're going to total all of those together. And we're going to get the $1,250.
I thought the check error was 27 for number 4 because we had to subtract.
27. You're correct. Thank you. It's 27. So then what we're going to do is we're going to take the 5337.20. We're going to add the 2264, and then we're going to subtract the 1251.20. Okay. So and that's going to give us an adjusted balance per book, adjusted cash balance per book for $63.50. And you're going to notice up above the adjusted balance for adjusted balance per books for $63.50. That's exactly what we want. Okay. Now what we need to do is we need to, I'm going to move this out of the way. Now what we need to do are do the entries because our thing balances. So the entries are always going to come from the bottom. The entries are always going to come from the bottom part of our statement because we cannot adjust what the bank does, right? I mean, yeah, we can't go in and adjust the bank's things. We can only adjust ours. So the things that we can do is this addition and then the less items. So any additions or any subtractions, right? If it's an addition and add to, we're going to debit the cash account. If it's a less, we're going to credit the cash account. So on the first one, this was March 31st, right? 3/31. I'll just put March 31. March 31, we are going to debit cash, 2264. That's for this note collected, right? And we are going to credit accounts receivable. Oh no, note, because it says notes receivable. 2264. Okay. All right. So we have the 2264. Oops. I'm just looking at fingers today. Okay. We're then going to go down to the next one, which is the less non-sufficient funds checks. And for that, we are going to be crediting cash, right? So we're crediting cash. So we're debiting accounts receivable because we're assuming that any check that we get is a payment from a customer. So we have to put it back to the customer's account. So we're going to debit cash, $1,202. Oh, and 20 cents. Do that. And then we are going to credit cash. Okay. Then we're going to go down to the next one here, which is the check error, right? And we are going to, let's see, we're going to credit cash. We're going to debit accounts payable because it was a check that we wrote. So we're just going to assume it's accounts payable. You're not going to get anything that's not. Could be payroll or something like that, but in this book, it's only going to be accounts payable if you made an error writing a check. So we are going to debit accounts payable, $27. We're going to credit cash, $27. And then we have the bank service charge of $22. But, all right. No, it's not. And I'll tell you why it's not. Because we do, we have this service charge of $22, right? So let's do that first, okay? And then I'll tell you why that's not just it. So we are going to debit bank charges, I think is what they call it. You can do see the chart of accounts for your problem and see what they call it specifically. So the bank charge is $22, right? And then we're going to credit cash, $22. But with these journal entries, I've actually skipped something, and you may not realize what it is off the top of your head, but I'll show you what I have skipped. So you remember this note here? Well, that would have been an accounting error, because if we go over and we look at number 2, it says, the bank collected a notes receivable for $21.69 for Taggart Company on March 15th, plus $121 of interest. The bank made a $26 charge for the collection. So by debiting or by crediting notes receivable $22.64, we're actually doing that wrong. So what we need to do is we need to credit, let's see. We need to clear these two numbers out. Okay, so how much cash did we actually get? Well, the amount of cash we got is the $21.69 plus the $121. That's the amount of cash that we got. The plus the interest, right? The amount of cash that we got. So if we go down, I'm going to show you what the entry looks like right here. I'm going to pull it up here so we can go over it together. So we did get $22.64 in cash, right? It was the note plus the fee of $121, or the interest of $121 minus the fee. So that's how much cash we got. Okay. We then have to get that fee in there, the bank fee of $26. So we have to debit bank service charges, $26. Okay, then we have to clear out the note. So we're going to credit notes receivable for $21.69. And then we are going to credit interest revenue for the $121. So that one's a little bit different. So if you have any that have a note in them, then you're going to want to make sure you just really closely look at the information around the note. Okay. All right. So these are your journal entries here, and I'm actually going to get rid of all of the highlight there. Okay. So these are the journal entries for the items up here that have the check marks next to them, which are the ones that you need to do your entries for. So you're always doing it the per book. It's always your journal entries are always coming from the per book part on the bottom. Okay. Confusing, I know, but it's kind of like you have to work through one like this, and then the next one you do, it kind of helps you to see what you need to look for as you go through the process. Okay, now your homework one is going to be a lot more in depth, because what you're going to be doing is you're going to be looking at a prior bank reconciliation that you did. You're going to be looking at your current T accounts, and you're going to be looking at your current T account for cash, and you're going to be looking at your current bank statement. And you're going to have to be going between those three documents. So there's a couple Wiley videos on that format too. And that format is how you really do it in the business world. We're not testing on that format though, because it takes so long just to go through the process. So we're testing on one where they've already got you the total amount of checks that were outstanding, the total amount of deposits outstanding, deposits in transit, and all that kind of thing. Okay. All right.